Hello everyone, I'm back with another video for you today. I have a very cool Havencraft deck to share with you. I wanted to make a video on this deck because I was sort of preparing for upcoming tournaments that are happening this weekend and next weekend, and I was really trying to work out, is there a way that Havencraft can be viable? Can it beat Swordcraft? Can it beat Roach perhaps? Can it be a deck that you consider playing in a tournament? I think we all know that it's not the best faction at the moment because it struggles into things like Runecraft, and even Swordcraft is going to be a bit of a slog. So there's not that many great matchups for the deck. A lot of the sort of later game or control-y decks are going to bash you up. So you're really trying to capitalize on players who are playing Roach and things like this when you're usually playing Wardhaven. But yeah, I wanted to make a more well-rounded deck and give it a go at trying to beat Swordcraft in particular. And I ended up with this quite interesting list, I think. Now, there's a lot of one-ofs in the deck, so I think this is going to be a huge problem for a lot of folks. I already get a lot of people in my chat who tend to tell me, you cannot be running one-off cards, you're never going to draw them consistently, what's the point? If you want a consistent deck, run 3 of everything that you want to play in the deck. But I like to go a bit deeper on the deck building, and quite often having one of a particular card can be really impactful when you play that simple one copy. But as soon as you start drawing more than one into your hand, it can really make your hand very clunky and prevent you from having, good plays, and in many cases just lose you the game. So there are a lot of situations where getting one of, for example, a Grimnir is great. We get that crest, and we get the value on that if we play one of, but once you play more than one, it just becomes a suboptimal card, really, the second copy. And this deck does get through quite a large portion of the deck. You've got a lot of drawing with Serene Sanctuary, which draws cards, the Leia Bellringer, which sometimes you can even evolve, and is drawing you cards as well as Olivia's for the late game card draw. So you've got all of these card draw mechanics, plus we've got some thinning with the deck, thinning of the deck with Aether and Rodeo, so you can really get through most of your deck with this particular deck, which allows you to see a lot of these one-off cards and have them make their impact in the game. So that's why so many one-offs, okay? That's the first point I want to make. Cleric of Crushing, again, a good one to occasionally evolve. It can get you out of a pinch sometimes, and as a potential play alongside a Wilbert or something like this in the late game to, stop your opponent going face with those wards. But really, I'm trying not to play too many bad cards in this deck, ultimately. That's the idea. We've got Wilbert. Yes, he's a very good card. We can play a lot of wards alongside him, but I don't want to go all in on the Aether, because this card is quite clunky. If you want to play good cards like Darkhaven Grace and potentially other artifacts, and if you want to develop your board, then the Aether is sometimes going to be clunky and not very playable. It also just plays into board clears, which the opponent usually has. If they're playing things like Runecraft, or even Swordcraft can just deal with this. Sometimes they even play Mallet Man in Roach to annoy you and deal with Aether. So I'm actually not that hot on Aether as a card. I think Wilbert is the really powerful card. Yes, he gets Odin sometimes. You can coin him out if you're going second sometimes as well, but I think that's the real power play. He's very hard to get through because you can't just simply board clear him. You have to kill the first guy and the second and the third. Whereas with Aether, you just have a William, you clear everything, you're good to go. A lot of decks do have ways to deal with this card. Only really Roach is struggling to deal with it. So that's why I've only got one of them in the deck. I think the first one you play can be very good. They also tend to eat the super Evos, right? So you don't have that many Evos to throw onto the Aethers. So I think, yeah, one of is good. Same thing with the Rodeo. The Rodeo is really strong in this deck. I mean, you can pull many artifacts. Of course, Dose is very good. The Pact has synergy with, of course, Jian as well. So this is a very powerful control play, essentially. You can wipe the board while developing many artifacts which are not interactable for the opponent. So you get some immediate value with the big Rodeo body, you clear their board, and you get later value with the artifacts while thinning your deck. I think it's a very strong play, and it gives us a backup option when we don't have Wilbert, for example. We can still have pretty viable, strong plays, even if we're missing that card and that Aether line, which you would normally want to go with Ward Haven. So some very strong top end. I mean, these are our plays. We want to be doing the Selefa to deal with the early game, of course, from the opponent. Then we're going to try to Wilbert, get the wards developed, and then we've got Rodeo as a play, we've got Aether maybe as a play. Otherwise, we can just play good value stuff. So we have Divine Thunder in the deck to pair very nicely with our other sort of high mana cards, things like the Immaculate Adjudicator. You can very easily deal with boards without committing an Evo, which is very strong. Same thing with the Agnes. Playing one of is very cheeky because there are usually there's usually a spot in the game where you have 2 artifacts on the board, and at that point the Agnes can become enabled and become very, very strong. But I think playing more than one of becomes quite clunky and difficult to use. We've got 1 of Divine Guard there as well. Sometimes you want to pair this with a Wilbert to deal with what they're doing. That card might be cuttable, in all honesty. And I was considering playing Lapis, because that could give you a pretty solid win condition, although Odin is just so prevalent in the meta, I don't really want to risk it. That being said, they are going to typically Odin Wilbert, so you could consider Lapis in the deck. It might be good. It might be good. Soul Cure 1 of for the healing against aggro and Swordcraft, very important. 2 of would be, a bit clunky. I think 1 of is perfect. Olivia's, because the draw is really powerful. We can use Super Evo on her, but we're not necessarily even wanting to do that. We just play Olivia into maybe Immaculate. Olivia into Celefa is a very nice play. If you have basic Evos remaining, and Olivia into Divine Thunder can be great as well. Plus, you've got these artifacts, so that enables the Olivia to be played often without Super Evo, maybe if you have a Dose or a Pact already on the board. I really like this deck. I think it's a very solid take on Havencraft. I don't know that you can get much better than this, to be honest. That being said, the faction is kind of weak at the moment. It is countered by a lot of decks. So we're probably going to struggle to win. I'm not going to play too many games with this, at risk of dropping from Diamond Group, but hopefully we can play a couple of games now and show you how the deck plays. Okay guys, we've got a bit of Abysscraft. Depending on what this is, it might be winnable. If it is aggro, then I think we have a better time than if we're playing against mid-range, although mid-range may be beatable, not sure. Maybe beatable. Typically a bad matchup for Haven, but I think our deck is a bit better than the typical sort of full ward Haven stuff. So we've got the Wilbert and the Celefa. I'm going to hold on to those. Can't really go wrong with those cards, even though we are going first, and it can be a bit of an issue against Odin, potentially. Let's see what we've got. A Minnow being played, okay. That's not the end of the world. We are very happy we've got the Serene Sanctuary. We can just trigger that and get Grimnir going next. I'm hoping that Celefa will be enough to stem the bleeding once we have that available. There's also an argument to play the Pact here, but I think I actually like it because we can then go Grimnir after. And this will for sure clear a unit, which is going to give us some health. Sorry. Alright. Okay, this is not too intimidating for now. They will not have Aragavi, so we can just go ahead and Grimnir now. Kill this. And this might even be a bit of a threat for the opponent, this Tiger on the board. Potentially. We're going to be able to heal back up. This is the other nice thing about Olivia. It gives you healing later in the game, which can be quite impactful. A lot of decks in the meta at the moment, of course, are trying to kill you in brutal fashion. Adjudicator's very good against zombies as well, potentially. But here we're probably just going to Celefa because we need to survive, we need to not die, we need to put ward up, and then we'll hopefully have the Wilbert to follow up as well. But yeah, Immaculate, a solid option as well. I think it's better to just get the healing confirmed and make sure we're protected, board is clear. Aragavi is not a problem really, we can then Wilbert into it, get the value. If they go for that line, I mean, we might be quite low, but I think we'll be able to stabilize, depending on how aggressive they are with, Odin and things like this. But yeah, very much with this deck, we are just sort of trying to dodge the bad matchups, and there are a lot of them. We certainly do become a bit weaker into Roach with this particular build that I've got going on, so that's certainly something to keep in mind. Now, I'm not sure I'm allowed to go with Wilbert here, just because, yeah, I mean, this board is a bit scary. I think I've got to go with another Celefa, to be honest. Just clear this guy. I don't want to play into the Odin too hard, otherwise that could be a lose condition for us there, so gotta wait for a bit of a better spot to play the Wilbert. I don't mind Super Evoing him, that can be an option certainly. Looks like they've got another Charon, that's pretty annoying. We might have to play Adjudicator here. Adjudicator Leia or something like this. Because I'm a bit scared of playing a Wilbert and getting Odin and then having this big chunky guy on the board, causing me all kinds of problems. Certainly a lot of pressure from the opponent. Chalice would be good. Rodeo! Oh, that is a great draw, man. I'm very happy to see him. Okay, bang! Absolutely the play here, no doubt about it. Probably get rid of Leia. Not sure. There's a lot of cards here that are. These are all pretty decent. To be honest, this works quite well with Olivia. Maybe the double Wilbert could be good. I mean, it is playing a little bit into Odin, perhaps. I think I'll get rid of Dose, to be honest. I think I will get rid of Dose. And here we go. We've got the huge Rodeo, value Rodeo. Not quite. In fact, it does fully clear Grimnir. It's a nice synergy, you know, the 3 damage board clear. So we've got a threat on the board, and now we've developed things we are hopefully able to play a Wilbert without, you know, being completely overrun. The scary part comes when you run out of the Evos and you're going into sort of the late game, but maybe we won't even play Wilbert. I don't know. We can just maybe go Adjudicator and play the Control Haven game. We've got the Dark Haven Grace now, so we can heal up. And hopefully sort of stem the bleeding. There's an Odin played from the opponent. So that may mean that Wilbert is, you know, good to go. I am tempted, though, just to play Immaculate. Because we can efficiently deal with both the Odin and the zombie. They only have a, you know, 1 Super Evo. So I think I want to go with this play. It just looks good to me. I can also even trigger my card draw if you want to do that. Because I do want to get the healing and make sure my tiger doesn't die. And we'll trigger the card draw as well. So we're digging through the deck here quite nicely. We've got another Adjudicator for the zombie, potentially. Yeah, we'll see what they've got. Okay, Aragavit. Okay. Might have to be a Wilbert now. But I'm pretty happy with the timing on that. And certainly with Divine Guard, it's an interesting option. I mean, we can play it with Leia, which is quite nice, I think. What other options do we have? We have Immaculate, plus like a Divine Guard to kill the Aragavi is also a pretty nice consideration, to be fair. There's even maybe an Olivia angle, but I don't think that I want to be doing that. I think I do need to play the Wilbert at some point, right? And now is probably as good a time as any. So we'll get him down, play him on the board. And I think I probably don't play Divine Guard just because the zombie doesn't really achieve that much and I can't fully clear it anyway. So I think playing Maid here is fine. We could play Bellringer as well, but get the Maid down. It's a pretty scary unit. I don't think Cerberus does enough here to be, you know, a big threat. That being said, I could have actually cleared the zombie. Wait, I forgot about Grimnir. I always forget about Grimnir, I'll be honest, guys. I don't play enough Grimnir to remember this card, but okay, we get value there. Keep the Divine Guard, I suppose, can be good. At the end of the world. Okay, they do have another Odin. But that's okay, we've got a second ward. I think the key here is we played the Wilbert on the same turn as a second ward, right? That can make things difficult for the opponent. Certainly looks like that was the case here. They can chip in some damage, but probably they don't want to use the Evo. So Coretta very strong here. Painful for the opponents. We've got Olivia Immaculate is a possibility. We've got just Wilbert into layers and things like this to be a real pain in the ass for the opponents. They are using Evo, so that's good news, I think. It means we're not, you know, concerned about the potential of a, what do you call it? A Cerberus Evo. So, questions on how we want to deal with this. There are ways we can do it. We can play Immaculate Agnes is an option. We can play, you know, Olivia Immaculate and allow the skeleton. I don't really want to allow the skeleton if possible. I would love to play Wilbert Divine Guard and kill that. You know, I think the play here is probably, it's a bit of a cheeky one. But I think we can use Agnes plus Divine Guard. I think that might be the line. Bit of a weird spot. I don't love that I'm using the Agnes without the, you know, without the usual stuff, but hey ho. So I'm going to go here, kill the skeleton, and that will allow Bellringer to be guaranteed killing the 7/5. And this is going to just prevent me, hopefully, from taking too much damage to the, you know, the Shadow Crypt or whatever. I think I'll heal as well. I don't really want to play the Bellringer. Just heal up. We've already got an intimidating board, and we're already sort of blocking a bit the Cerberus damage. And just making sure we maximize the heals at every point is probably going to be a good option. Okay, they are just pushing through with the damage, which I'm okay with. Playing the Bell Ringer would have prevented this, I suppose. But in some way, inducing them to go face is potentially good for us because we can then sort of punish with some healing and some wards and things like this. Certainly maybe a Selefa Immaculate could be a good play next turn. Yeah, very grindy deck. We end up sort of grinding the opponent down in the later stages quite often. Okay, they're gonna just going face. I mean, it looks like they're running out of steam here, so I'm pretty happy to go Selefa Adjudicator. There is an option to play Lair, heal, if we want to really maximize that sort of healing, but I feel quite safe making this play. Skipping a Dark Haven, and yeah. Perhaps we can go Olivia as well in the future. Maybe not, might not have the space to do it. We've got Jian now, which is nice. That's a good board clear for us. Pretty happy to see that. And Wilbert can be another, solid play. I'd love to see another Odin before I play Wilbert, just so I know that he's safe. Not sure if we'll be able to see that, but... Okay, this is great. They're not clearing my stuff. We now have Jian, the power play, and I'll probably just clear off this zombie because I want to be safe as well. I'll play the Lear first, often a very good option. And now we just have massive wards on the board, pretty hard to deal with. Now they could be playing Medusa or something, or Ginsetsu. I don't think it's that likely the way their deck is built. I mean, honestly, maybe. They seem to be playing quite aggressively, but they could certainly have some sort of late game cards that would deal with this. That is possible. But, I think we're in a good position to grind from this point on, right? Even if they do answer this board. Nice. Can beat mid-rangey Abysscraft. Let's go to the next. Okay, and a bit of Swordcraft. This will be a good matchup to showcase win or lose. Definitely one of the decks that you're perhaps supposed to be happy to face. When you're playing the Havencraft. Do I keep a Pact? I honestly kind of just really need Selefa in the matchup, so I think I will mulligan everything to really try to look for her. We have Divine Thunders, which can sort of maybe help us survive to Unholy Vessel. That might be the option here. Or potentially even a Coin Wilbert play to avoid Odin. But yeah, typically this matchup can be a bit scary. I'm going to play Kareta. We don't want to take too much damage. We don't want to be pressured too hard. The Samurai is not usually their best early play, so hopefully they don't have a Vals or something of this nature, and we can not take too much damage here. Okay, that's reasonable for us. Luminous coming in now. Usually they play this one first. Now we could Divine Thunder. I think probably the better play is going to be the Dose, since we drew that. Keep our coin, and coining out Wilbert is probably going to be strong. Let's just clear the board a bit, particularly of the sort of higher damage. Actually, I kind of like holding the Dose there. That was probably a misplay, actually using it. Because we could do some really nice things with the Divine Thunder, and we didn't get a heal, so it wasn't even that useful. But let's see, we probably still get a good Divine Thunder here, right? We don't necessarily anticipate that card being a thing. Okay, perfect. Divine Thunder now. Clear the print. And we've got a Wilbert on 5. So that worked out very nicely for us. Didn't even need the Selefa, it turns out. And we're dodging Odin. This play is already quite debilitating for the opponents. It should be quite hard to deal with, especially considering they used a Rose already. They might have a Samurai or something. I guess it's not activated yet, so... Kind of hard to deal with this in an efficient manner for the opponent, I think. Unless they have another Rose. They're just going to throw a Zirconia at it. We're pretty happy to see this. They may even not want to trade in because, yeah, it's a bit brutal to trade in, but that gives us options here. I mean, that does give us some options. Unfortunately, we can't Super Evo and Unholy, but perhaps we can just go, really on the aggressive with an Olivia play, for example, here. Just Olivia bash the face, something like this. I quite like. Coin it out with, Bell Ringer or the honestly, the Kareta seems really tough to deal with. So I think I like this. I'm going to go for it. It looks strong to me. Another Wilbert. And yeah, since I think we're going on, on the aggressive, I think I want to play the Kareta. It's a very tanky unit. I This is just a lot of tempo for this stage of the game, right? Obviously, Aether would also be quite powerful in this spot, but I'm just going to put the opponent on the you know, on the back foot here. Really ask them, how are you dealing with this board? This board is a nightmare, just a nightmare to deal with. Double super evolve, a Wilbert. You know, Odin does not do anything here. It does not do, like, I think it loses, doesn't it? I guess Samurai helps. Okay, fair play, fair play. They got a bit lucky there with the rose, I guess, but we've brought them to 12 already. I mean, we can't really do much in the way of, you know, finding lethal, I suppose you could say. It's not super easy to do with this deck. I think here I'm tempted to go with another Wilbert. They've just played an Odin. That being said, Olivia also looks just great. I don't know how they deal with that efficiently. The Olivias on curve are kind of nasty with Coretta. I mean, yeah, really, really quite powerful. That's certainly an option. I could just Unholy. I think I like the Olivia. I mean, how do they deal with it? They probably have to use an Evo, and at that point we're, you know, getting into the mud with the opponent, in a sense. I like this. I think it's just really, really nasty. I mean, they got lucky with the Samurai before, but I think without that play, we are really bashing them quite hard here. Let's see how they deal with it. Obviously, Amalia could be the answer. Would require an Evo, though. And if they ever give me space, then I'm going to get a very nice Wilbert turn coming up. Okay, Gildari is strong, but don't think it clears this in a super efficient way. And it is getting their last Evo. So now we're not really under pressure from Albert. We can begin grinding, you know, very hard. I have another Samurai. Wow, that is amazing. His opponent high rolling casually the Samurais. I mean, high roll, low roll, who knows? Who knows if it's even good for them? So I'm probably just going to Unholy Leia. I think it's a decent board to play the Unholy into. Of course, there could be Amalia and stuff, but it's a super evolved, you know, threat. So I'm pretty happy trading my Chalice for that. And yeah, we should be okay here. I think we're constantly threatening things. There's another Odin being played. Okay, so my Wilbert is very likely to get through without problems now, I can say. He's very likely to be strong here. I think I will play the Wilbert now, along with Divine Guards. We could even actually, you know what? I think Evoing this is correct, just to get through the deck. Of course, Selepa is a very good Evo target. We haven't played any yet, so there's a consideration not to do this. But I think the extra card draw is going to allow us to really grind with the opponent, and hopefully we're getting the value there. Amelia, the opponent's doing a similar thing. Another Odin. Okay. They got the 3 Odins. We're pretty sad. That is, the opponents just had the answers that they've needed to be even remotely comfortable in this game. I'm going to go with an Immaculate to deal with this. And then we probably need to play Leia. So I'll play Leia and a Pact of the Beast. I don't think I want to trigger this, though, because there's the option to maybe Agnes if we find another artifact. So we'll keep our options open on that front. We will have a Divine Thunder to deal with this. It's a pretty good answer once they've ashed into the Leia. So yeah, we can answer that very effectively and perhaps play a Soulkier Sister or something of this nature. Okay, Rodeo, also quite interesting. We can't really use him in a great way at the moment. Let's just clear this board. And we probably want to trigger, you know, the Tiger here, because it's pressure as well. So let's go for that, play the Cleric. I'll keep the Agnes. It can be face damage maybe to finish off the opponent here in some situation. We want to get this Rodeo down, although it might not be super easy to do that. Okay, just an Albert being played, that's fine. Time to play Rodeo now, I believe. I'm not really in much danger unless I don't hit a dose. It's possible I won't. So it's sort of risky. It is sort of risky. I don't really love the alternatives here, though. I mean, I could just Agnes and Selefa. I suppose that's a play, actually. Yeah, alright. Let's Agnes and Selefa. That being said, maybe just Rodeo, get the artifacts for the Agnes value. I don't know. Might be Might be worth just taking the risk. The problem is I straight up lose if I don't find Dose with Rodeo, so that feels a little bit bad. I'm also not sure what I should even discard with him, to be honest, at the moment. There's you know, an argument to get rid of Divine Guard, I guess. Probably the worst card in the hand. We'll see, yeah. Maybe even if Agnes survives, although that's a bit of a long shot. Okay, I guess we might be getting ground down regardless, guys. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it. We've got Jian, so that's an answer here. I probably have to play it. With Divine Guard, of course. It's scary. I mean, this Gildaria card, they have so many good cards into you, and the Odin is just... I don't know. It was a bit unlucky, I guess, that they had triple Samurai, triple Odin. That really does answer my threats in an efficient way, doesn't it? But the Amelias are coming as well. This card is just such a good grind card. I might lose. I might be losing. We've got Adjudicator, but what can we pair with it? Okay, Divine Thunder, Soulcure looks like the play. Divine Thunder is the intended answer for the, those pesky Amelias. But I'm kind of getting bashed here. We need to get this Rodeo out. I think I might have misplayed, and I was supposed to play the Rodeo instead of the Agnes to get the maximum value from my cards, as it were. As things currently stand, I'm in a bit of danger. I'm in a bit of a pickle. We've got Unholy to bail us out. It's not the best, but okay. We keep grinding. I need to get this Rodeo down because it's got the card draw as well. That will help. But again, it's just they just spam the board with threats, don't they? Okay, Rodeo has to be played here, I do believe. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to discard Grimnir, I guess, or the Adjudicator, both of which I kind of want to have. I guess I need to play the Grimnir, otherwise I'm probably dying. We didn't, to be fair, find, I'm not even sure I should be playing this here, actually. It's probably better to trigger my guys. Probably just dead, let's be honest. Zirconia can trigger, yeah. Womp womp, we lose. I mean, this matchup should be playable, but triple Odin is something. I mean, we couldn't get the Wilberts to stick. I maybe shouldn't have committed the Olivias, and that was a bit loosey-goosey with the Evos. Certainly arguable, but either version might have had a bit more presence in the sort of mid stages there. But anyhow, that's the deck. I'm not going to play more with it. I don't want to just lose. Haven is in a bit of a rough spot. Even the good matchups are a bit dicey, as you can see. But yeah, I think it's a nice deck, and certainly my favorite take on Haven. You might disagree if it's as to whether it's the best Haven deck or not, but hope that was a good. Good video to watch nonetheless. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. Subscribe as always for more videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.